Hello students, welcome to lesson on solving inequality with absolute value. Very similar to solving equation with just with a regular absolute value. There'll be two solutions. There's two possible ways to get the answer, okay? Now, when there's a less than sign or a greater than sign, it actually means something a little bit different. We'll get into that later on. Okay, just remember that when you write your two equation, okay, you always want to write down the word and when it's a less than sign, when it's in a variable, or a greater than. When it's a greater sign, you want to write down or, okay? So for this one, and again, I'll explain that later. All right, so this one has the less than sign, so I'm gonna use the word and. All right, so let's go write down our two equation here. Again, you don't need to, I'm gonna show you how to graph this one, okay, but I know the other problems you might not need to graph, all right? All right, so let's go and rewrite it, okay? So negative 2x plus 4 less than or equal to 24. Now, this one's a little trickier, okay? Let's write down the word and down over here, all right? And then when you rewrite this side here, so negative 2x plus 4, now you gotta flip the sign on the other side, greater than or equal to, and then make that to a negative 24. All right, now let's go ahead and solve. Again, I'll explain that to you later on because you have two possible answers, okay? Subtract 4 to both sides, subtract 4 to both sides. Negative 2x is less than or equal to 20. Divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2. This one here will be flipped. All right, to be greater than or equal to negative 10. Subtract 4 to both sides, subtract 4 to both sides. Negative 2x is greater than or equal to negative 28. Divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2. X again, since you divide both sides by negative 2, you have to flip the sign again. That gives you positive 14. All right, so what does this mean? This means that x can be larger than negative 10. As you can see, if it's larger than negative 10, it's gonna be less than, it has to be larger than negative 10, but then it also has to be less than 14. So this one is kind of restricted, okay? It has to be somewhere in between here. Since it's a less than sign, less than 24, there's not many numbers as less than 24, because if it's negative 25, that's still going to be bigger than 24. So that's why I use the word and. Is really restricted to how many answers there are, okay? So x has to be greater than or equal to negative 10, but then it also has to be less than or equal to 14. So again, it's very restricted. So you could write the answer like this, like negative 10, okay? Less than or equal to of x, and less than or equal to 14. All right, so again, x has to be in between that number. Now, when you graph this, okay, so it's like negative 10 here, and then 14 there, and then you shade that. So x can be 10, it can also be 14. The reason why is because of an equal sign. So again, it can be negative 24 and positive 24, but again, x is restricted, okay? Because the absolute value just means that it's gonna be, if the interior is gonna be negative 25, then it's gonna be bigger than 25, so you know it can't be negative 25. So again, x is very restricted and is restricted to negative 10 and 14. Anything else will make it larger than 24. Like anything out here will make it larger than 24, so your answer has to be somewhere in between here. All right, let's go ahead and do number 2. Number 2 is actually in a way kind of similar, okay? But anyway, let's go ahead, and this one here, you have to get rid of the number that's outside the absolute value for it. This is multiplying, that's subtracting. Let's go ahead and get rid of the 4 first, add 4, add 4. Negative 2 times the absolute value of x plus 12 is less than, this one gives you negative 16. Then this is going to divide by negative 2. Again, you just want to get rid of this one. You want to be able to write down your 2 equation. That's what we're focused on, all right? Oh, my bad. You just divide both sides by negative 2, so you have to flip the sign. That would give you positive 8. All right, let's go and write down our 2 equation. This one here is an or. Okay, I'll explain that later on. Let's go and rewrite it. So we have 3x plus 12 greater than 8. Now we're going to flip it the other side now. 3x plus 12. And now you're going to make it less than, and it is negative 8. All right? Go and subtract 12 to both sides. That would give you negative 4. Divide by 3, divide by 3. X is greater than negative 4 over 3. Subtract 12 to both sides. 3x is less than negative 20. Again, you're not flipping the sign because you just divide by positive, all right? Negative 20 over 3. All right, so these are your 2 answers. Now, this part right here, and then I know I already kind of scribbled at it. Okay, oh, this one here, my bad. All right, now before you write your 2 equation there, okay, the absolute value is larger than 8. That means the answer can be a lot, right? It can be negative 9. It can be positive 9. It could be negative 10, negative 11, negative 12, negative 13, negative a million. It could be 9, 10, 11, 12, a million. So there are so many answers when your absolute value is greater than the number, okay? So therefore, it's the word or, all right? That means that your answer, your solution could be anything that's larger than negative 4 over 3 and anything that's less than negative 20 over 3, okay? So this one is a huge amount of answers. So to graph this one, all right, so it's less than right here, so negative 20 over 3. And this one here is negative 4 over 3. Okay, this is actually a larger number, all right? So you circle this one. So anything, it could be all these numbers here, and it could be all these numbers. Oops, just draw it down like this one. It could be all these numbers right here. Okay, so all of these are solution. Earlier it was restricted to somewhere between negative 10 and 14. This one here, it could be infinite on this side, infinite on that side, because it's the or, all right? Just remember that. So when it's a greater than sign, okay, it's an or. When it's a less than sign, before you write it's an and, all right? So then therefore you're restricted. All right, now, a couple more problems. For number 3, okay, again, before you write your 2 equation, if it's greater than a negative number, you go, wait a minute, it could always be greater than a negative number. Okay, so this one is infinite solution. Okay, now for this one, how can it be less than a negative number? All right, because this can always turn out positive no matter what. So this one has no solution. So there's a huge difference between those two. All right, again, one more time. Any number here will be a positive. It could be even a 0. Okay, so 0 and a positive number can never be less than a negative number. Okay, so therefore this is no solution. This one here is always going to be larger than negative, so it's infinite solution. All right, so those two are actually different but very similar in a way. All right, that's it. Thank you and have a great day.